Evening. Ooh, mood lighting, love that. Thank you all for showing an interest in our team and joining us here tonight. For those watching at home, we are live streaming this and we'll probably post it up on our Facebook page. Can you guys hear me okay? Perfect, okay. My name is Hayley. I'm the team lead for Redback this year. We also have Hayley just here, who is our business director, and we have Guy, who is our technical director. Tonight you'll be hearing from all three of us and then also our business and technical leads. So first up, I believe you've all signed in. Thank you very much for doing that. If you're at home, you can also fill in that QR code, up to you though. To start things off, we have a little video for you from our launch night last year. It's about the kind of the design, manufacturing and racing phase, or more like manufacturing, of our current EV vehicle RB21E. Well, yep, so that's what we're going through. Here we go. Alrighty, so that gives a lovely little overview into what we do here. You would have noticed at the beginning there was a few historical shots. We are a team that has been around since 2000, and up until 2019 we were building exclusively IC cars, so internal combustion. And then we moved into the EV class, which was extremely exciting. And last year was a very, very monumental year for us, and we had our first competitive dynamic vehicle, RB21E. So you can see in the bottom right there, that's our driver Blake, giving a nice little, I don't know, what do you call that? Like supportive, like fist. In the car as he is driving down at competition. So we race or we compete at a competition every single year called the Formula FSAE Australasia competition in Winton, Victoria. Last year we took a lot of members with us, but it is just for insight for any of you wanting to join the team. It's not something that everyone gets to do. You kind of have to put in the work and the effort to be able to go down and have that experience, I guess. But yeah, so what we do is we design, build and race a Formula style student car. Little snippets up there from the last couple years from us. So typically we do all of that in a year, which is what we're doing this year. Very, very exciting. but RB21E took us a couple years because of COVID. So next up, some more slides. Oh my, I had another slide, but that's okay. So this is our team structure. So there's myself and the other executives, and then we have a bunch of technical departments and business departments that all work together to kind of bring this car to life. So that lovely video that you guys all just watched was produced by our very talented media team, all completely in-house, which we're very, very proud of. And that's what we work to kind of produce and show you guys about how cool we are and how you should all come and join us. So that being said, not all of our departments are recruiting. Most of them are, but not all of them. More on that at the end of the presentation. If my planned slide isn't there, then that's kind of everything for me. Yeah. Okay, so next up, I'll pass you on to Hayley, who will give you a brief overview about business, and then we'll have our business leads get up and run through the departments before we move on to tech. So thank you, guys. We'll continue.
Well, thank you, Hayley. Going on the theme of history, so we saw that the team was formed in 2000, whereas the business team, up until only a few years ago, was actually run by only one person. And then up until a few years ago was 5 business leads, and then now we're part of a group that's about 15, 20, and we're looking to expand this year. So business is a really rising department in Redback. The more and that's very, and that really aligns with the growth of Redback. So if you see any of the social media posts, the LinkedIn posts, the merch that we wear on our backs, that's actually the work of our lovely business members. So we're more than just an engineering project. We really are a student culture project. So beyond, I know majority of you might be here to look at the technical departments, but there is a lot to look at in business. If you were to be able to make it on the team, you'd be able to come to all of our social events, our workshop events, and just be part of a team culture that's really harboring learning and student engagement, really. So this year in 2023, we're kind of building on what we did last year, and we're looking to increase our sponsorship base. So because we're a growing team, because we're exploring an area of EV, there are a lot of opportunities and avenues to contact new people and contact new companies and have more academic standing in the uni that we are at UNSW. We also want to increase the support that we give to the technical department. We often run behind the scenes kind of events. Like I said, the merch, the social media posts, all of the operations that you saw at O Week, that was done by the lovely business leads. But I'm not going to go in too much depth of it because we got our lovely business leads. So without further ado, where is Daniel? Thanks, guys.
Hey, yeah, I'm Daniel. I'm the Biz Media Lead for 2023. So obviously, media is fairly self-explanatory. I'm guessing a lot of you guys are here because of our media channels. We worked really hard over the last few years to build up our media base. Yeah, so when I originally joined Redback, the business team was fairly small, especially media. So it took a lot of hard work to build up to where we are now in terms of media. Something I can say about media is that we focus a lot on high production value and driving brand awareness. Something that you can probably notice from, I guess, the difference between Redback and other societies is that we focus a lot on professional production and development of our own members. We work on fairly, I guess, industry level production of videos. So moving ahead, what is media offering to in terms of recruitment? We have our social media members. So as a social media member, you're responsible for essentially keeping a consistent brand image of what Redback is. Redback is, we run like a business. We are a business. We are representing more than just Redback. We represent first and foremost UNSW and the schools that sponsor us. Beyond that, we have fairly major sponsors that also graciously either support us through services or money. So that's part of what media is. We want to bring that message out of what Redback is and what we can offer and what sponsors give us. Moving on, video editor, self-explanatory once again. We work, as you see, the launch night videos and a lot of the videos we make on YouTube basically come alive because of our video editors. you don't need to be studying a media degree, and that's something I stress a lot. I personally don't study media, and see I guess the product that we can deliver. It's really about experience and intuition. Something I stress a lot is media and business in general is very autonomous. If you have the drive to do it and you have that creativity, I definitely encourage sort of like applying and coming to media. Moving on, media productions. This is a very much like hybrid role. These roles might be set up here, but joining media, you can be doing like absolutely anything. You won't be stuck into doing media, video editing or social media. You can be helping us producing videos, like sponsored videos, coming to track days. But yeah, so media production is really about photography and videography fundamentally, but also you'll be helping us drive the brand forward beyond even 2023 and what Redback will be like in 5 years. And for sure, it's gonna be very different. But you know, that's just the brand we build here, and we're building the fundamentals. So what is media, the responsibilities? Essentially, we manage and maintain Redback's brand awareness. What you see now on Instagram, it's very meticulously, I guess, planned out and designed as to how we want Redback to represent ourselves, both to faculty and sponsors. You are going to be providing valuable and creative ideas to our media projects. We do have a couple media projects in the pipeline right now. How we operate on 2 different timelines. We have very short-term projects that could be day-to-day operations such as Instagram posts and sponsored posts. And then we have the big stuff such as bigger vlogs, bigger documentaries, more sort of documenting the life of, you know, a average Redback member, how the car is built, how the manufacturing process goes. So that's really the long-term aspect of media. Moving on, we also create and produce content that showcases the team's achievement. Obviously, last year was a fairly momentous year for us. We managed to obviously make it a comp after 2 years. We passed grid steering, made it on track. That's all about capturing, I'm guessing, the emotions and our process to getting there. I'm sure some of you guys may have seen our YouTube videos on road to comp or our track day videos and O-Week stuff. That's really what it's about. It's about capturing what Redback is, and you know, hopefully building the brand image even more going into the future. So back to the media projects. What do we do? Biggest things, obviously media-wise. What do? We build a car, so obviously track days. We frequently take the car out onto track. One of the biggest responsibilities of media is capturing that moment and all the track action. Going back, one of our bigger projects is sort of documenting Redback and our journey going into 23's competition. And that's sort of your biggest responsibility, is help us deliver that project of filming and editing, documentary, all of that fun stuff. Media filming days. We have very, very talented media members. We have access to gear that, generally speaking, normal people do not have. We have access to industry camera gear. We work and plan out how we can deliver what we want and how we want to represent the team. So media filming days, essentially, we take the car out, we shoot the absolute crap out of it, we have fun. That's pretty much what the launch video is. So that's just some fun stuff. Coming into media, you get to learn how to plan out events like that. One thing I say very often is that the stuff you learn in the classroom is complementary what we learn at Redback. You learn how to do all the planning and stuff in your media degree, and then you come here and actually do it. Sponsorship media, something very different but crucial to Redback. We have many sponsors. They have a lot of expectations. They set out what they want, and we deliver it. As simple as that. Something like very enticing about Redback is that we have very high production. So that is what sponsors expect from us, and that is what we want to deliver and keep, sort of maintain that consistency. But yeah, so that's really what the media side of things is about. We want to present Redback in a way that is first and foremost student-led. We are a student-led engineering project, but also we have a little business aspects, and we want to represent that properly. So yeah, so if you're interested, please sign up. If you want to learn new skills, we are all about upskilling and also teaching new people. So if you're a bit hesitant about not having the skills required, we are more than happy to teach you. And we give you the resources, we give you the knowledge, and you know, you have fun. And you know, you could be the future of like the media team. So yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex and I'm the design lead. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what design does. So when you interact with our team, you actually interact with design. So we try to maintain a cohesive brand. So we deal with the professional profile of Redback. So like Daniel actually said, you don't actually need to have like any graphics knowledge. You just need to have like a big passion, a desire for what you're doing. Personally myself, I actually don't have a graphic background. So you can always just apply and just have passion, and that's all that matters. So the different roles, this year we're recruiting for our graphic designers and concept designers. It's very integrated. So if you're being a concept designer, you're actually being a graphic designer. Our graphic designers work with the full Adobe suite, and we also use Figma, Canva, and just professional leading industry stuff. Our concept designers work with 3D animations, renders, so what you see on the website. Okay, so design responsibilities. So like I said before, we create and maintain the elements of the visual branding of the team. We produce the graphical content. There's a wide variety of projects, so there's 3D renders, branding, car livery design, actually, merch, promotional materials, social graphics, and the website. So that's all, and I'll pass it on to internal relations.
Hello. My name's Angie. I'm the internal relations lead, and I'll just be taking you through internal relations today. So if I had to summarize internal relations, I would basically think of these three things, which is internal events, social events, and ARC-related activities. So to go more into them, internal events is events like the one you're at right now, which is Info Night. We also do our launch night, which is like towards the end of the year, where when we have our car ready, we show it to all our sponsors and faculty and everyone else that wants to come along. And yeah, we do other external events like O Week, where it's events that you see and that you'll see on our socials and things like that. Another part of internal events, I would say, is recruitment. So obviously our recruitment's open right now. Anything that you guys are seeing about recruitment is stuff that IR has organized. And yeah, we take care of the new recruits coming in. We go to your courses and outreach to your courses about Redback, just to let everyone know what Redback is. And yeah, we handle the onboarding of you as well. So you'll see IR a lot as you're coming into Redback. And social events. So social events, obviously we are a team that builds a car, but we are beyond that. We are also a group of friends. So we like to have fun, and we create the social events just so that we can create the fun and engaging atmosphere for the team, beyond just building the car. So yeah, social events are all internal to the team. So when you join the team, you'll be coming to our barbecues, our sport days. I'll go back a slide. You can see I think they're playing dodgeball, and it seemed like a really fun day. So yeah, so social events are really good, and it's just, Redback is more about just building the car. It's not just like another uni course. It's so that you can make friends as well and use part of your degree, but also, we have a really cute group. And ARC-related things is just really, we're the ARC delegates of Redback, so anything that we do related to ARC, things like EGMs and internal grants and things, that is what IR takes care of. So we are an ARC-affiliated group, and yeah, and that's just part of what we have to do. Thank you. I will pass over to external relations.
G'day everyone, my name's Sahash and I'm the External Relations Lead for 2023. As for what External Relations does, as I'm sure you might have guessed, running Redback and building the car requires a lot of resources and a lot of money. And although the university is extremely gracious in providing that funding, we have to reach out to external sponsors as well in order to finance the car. And that's where External Relations comes in. So in that, we have three main roles. The first one being new business development, partner engagement, and community outreach. So as an external relations member, you won't be limited to one of these, rather you would be spread out over all three. So in regards to new business development, that mostly involves procuring sponsorships from a variety of different companies from a variety of different industries, and these can be monetary sponsorships or technical sponsorships. Now the technical ones involves a lot of speaking with the technical departments to ensure to find out which companies to talk to, and then it's up to ER to kind of reach out to those companies and open a dialogue and convince them to sponsor us. And so I find that part of the role quite rewarding to see go from a nothing relationship to them sponsoring our team, which can provide a tangible impact to the technical department. And the next part is the partner engagement, and that involves managing relationships with sponsors and just ensuring that the partnerships are mutually beneficial. Now, one of our goals for this year is to ensure like long-term partnerships with our sponsors, so this part is quite important. And the next component is community outreach, and this involves bringing Redback's awareness through like conducting school outreach programs, such as the one you can see on the board there, and that's mostly to kind of like make people aware of Redback in high school so that when they come to UNSW they know exactly who we are and can join Redback afterwards. And we also do external motorsport initiatives such as Girls on Track, which provides like which aims to like increase female representation in motorsport. And so yeah, I highly recommend you guys get involved in external relations. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I'll pass it on to Guy, I think.
All right, so by way of introduction, I'm Guy. I'm the Technical Director for 2023. So along with the support that the business branch gives us, without them we couldn't do any of this. But what we do with that support is we go and design, build and race a car every year. So for this year, okay, so the technical goals for this year is to place within the top 5 at Formula SAE Australasia. So FSAE Australasia is quite a big competition with some very tough competition as well from the other universities, both throughout Australia and abroad. So this year we've set quite an ambitious goal. As you saw, last year was our first dynamically running electric car. We made it a competition, we competed. It was a really momentous year for us. And we've actually found in testing since then as well and in simulation, so we really did produce quite a fantastic car and quite a competitive car. So this year we're taking that up a notch again. So we are delving a lot more into the outright performance of the car and also the supporting systems to enable that performance as well. So the technical goals for this year are to obviously create that performance envelope that will allow us to place within the top 3 in every single dynamic event at FSAE Australasia. So FSAE consists of acceleration event, skid pan, autocross and endurance for the dynamic events. So our car has to be capable of breaking into the top 3 in all of those. On top of that as well, this year we're also implementing a very thorough design and documentation process so that we can build up ongoing knowledge in the team that can carry over from year to year and help you guys out, those of you that get into tech, in future years can help you build off of our success this year. And finally, we're also working on maximising our on-track testing time through really streamlining our design and manufacturing phases. So as Hayley outlined earlier, RB21E we developed over 2 years because of COVID cancelling obviously the 2021 FSAE Australasia competition. So we had 2 years to develop that car. This year, we are developing a car that is more advanced and more capable in about a third of the time. So it's a good year to be joining Redback. It's going to be very fast-paced, but it's going to be very motivated, and we're going to achieve very great things in Redback this year. So as you can see, technical consists of 8 departments, 7 of which are implemented on the car, and then we also have operations to support all the other 7 departments. So chassis, well actually I won't go into details about what each department does, they'll do that in a moment. But yeah, so at the moment, all of technical is currently in the design phase of the year. So we're early on in design phase working on some design projects which the department leads will outline in a sec. And for those of you that would be joining the technical branch, you'll be coming in around about the start of the manufacturing phase. So you'll be able to get your hands dirty and work on the car one-on-one. And we've found throughout the years that that is a really great opportunity to learn. And so in the next phase, you can then go into designing your own components and your own systems and really get that valuable experience as engineering or computer science or any other STEM students you might be. But yeah, so I will pass it on to our chassis lead, Jocelyn. There you go.
Hi everyone, I'm Jocelyn, your chassis lead for this year, and I'll just go through some of our roles and responsibilities of what we'll be doing in chassis. So we're in charge of designing, manufacturing, and verifying essentially the primary structure of the vehicle. So that includes the frame, as well as the IA and AIP, and the seat. We also take some time into researching alternative chassis material selections so that in future we can, build upon our knowledge and ensure that there's proper hand down of knowledge, basically. We also have a lot of interdepartmental collaboration, so that's like ensuring proper system integration and driver ergonomics, which I'll get into in a couple minutes. So chassis is split into two teams. We have the chassis team and we have cockpit ergonomics team. So in chassis, as I said, we're in charge of the frame, IA and AIP, as well as torsion testing, which is essentially verifying our analysis. In cockpit ergonomics, this is where the interdepartmental collaboration comes in. You'll be working with members from suspension and brakes, and you'll be working on these components. So that's the seat and harness, firewall, head restraint, and ergonomics rig, which has been freshly made, as you can see there, and our driver, Blake, is sitting in there. So I will hand over to electrics now.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So my name is Abi.
And I'm Jeffrey.
And together with Akash, we are the electrics leads of 2023. All right, so the electrics department is responsible for the design, manufacture, and testing of all the electrical systems in the car, which includes the powertrain and motor controller, which is responsible for powering power to the wheels, HV batteries and battery management systems, which store electrical energy in the car and ensure that the lithium batteries in the car are always operating within safe limits. Safety systems on the car, which are mandated by FSAE rules and are designed to protect the driver and engineers as well in case of an emergency. Low voltage control systems, which receive and process inputs from the driver and external sensors on the car. And we also implement custom solutions on printed circuit boards, which allow us to meet our target requirements more efficiently and also have tighter integration with the rest of the electric system and by extension, the whole car itself.
Yep, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about current projects we're involved in. So we have the LV power and control team currently designing the wiring harness that is a snapshot of a part of the harness from RB21E. That is effectively what we're working towards. And what it does is it physically connects all of your devices together to power them on and to provide like the physical layer for communication. Then we have the networking team setting up the embedded software to implement like protocols to make sure that devices and sensors are communicating and sending their data to the right places so it can be logged and stored away for like future analysis. And finally, we have the powertrain team that are responsible for the electrical integration, like the circuitry required for implementing like an electric powertrain. And what you see there is the tractive enclosure that sends the DC high voltage. So that's the safety circuitry that's needed to send the DC high voltage through to the inverter, which is then sent to the motor. Yeah, I'll be handing it over to Kevin, tell you more about suspension and brakes.
Hello, everyone. I am the suspension and brakes lead for this year. Now, yes, suspension and brakes. Now, what do we design and build? We design suspension, and we design brakes. That's right. There you can see a photo of our lovely brakes member there, Kalindu, holding a master cylinder. He's looking very happy with his work. So as suspension and brakes, we collaborate with all the other departments as usual. So we have to negotiate things like kinematic design with chassis. We have to think about sensor integration with electrics. We have to think about ergonomics and component placement in general. Obviously, you'll be doing quite a lot of structural analysis just because suspension components are quite important because they kind of hold the car together and keep the wheels on track. Now, some of our projects that we run, so obviously suspension kinematics, that's kind of your vehicle dynamics side things, really, really interesting, really hard, and really easy at the same time. Linkages, so that'll be your control arms, your tie rods, your steering arms, damper extensions, things like that. Your wheel assembly, so you can see a photo of our uprights and cubs and assembly here. This is when they were first assembled, looking sexy and, you know, shining at you. Very exciting stuff. Steering, you know, obviously the car needs to steer, so steering wheels, steering columns. This year we're actually going for a bevel gearbox steering column, so that would be very cool. Brakes assembly, probably one of the most underrated assemblies on the car, in my opinion. There you can see the pedal box from 21E. As you can see, obviously a lot of effort was put into engraving the logo and the name onto the pedals by our brakes member, Tejas, who is full-time brakes member, part-time master engraver. That is all. Unfortunately, suspension brakes will not be recruiting, but that is okay because you can apply for the department that's coming up next, which you'll learn a lot of skills that will transfer over and share the same things with suspension brakes. So I'll hand it over to Julio.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Julio. I'm the aero and cooling lead for this year. Well, I'm guessing when all of you look at a Formula SAE car or a Formula car in general, the most outstanding aspect of them is the aerodynamics. And this year, the plan for aero is no different to that. Last year, we ran a limited aerodynamics package on the car. However, this year, we're going all out and we're designing a full aero package for the car. Front wing, rear wing, underfloor, and side airfoils. So some of our responsibilities for aerodynamics and cooling are aerodynamic design first and foremost, then manufacturing and verification. Now, verification is probably one of the most challenging aspects of aerodynamic design. It is one of the reasons why we're trying to have so much track testing time this year, so that we can focus on making sure that our CFD results do in fact relate to our on-track performance. We design all our aerodynamic devices, so front wing, rear wing, side pods, which we will not be having this year, and under tray, as well as the cooling systems and all associated mounts on the car. You may think that cooling might not be necessary on an EV car compared to an IC car, but it's, as we've learned at track testing, it's something that should not be overlooked. The optimization of the aerodynamics and cooling packages are also an extremely important part of the aero and cooling team. We focus heavily on computational fluid dynamics, or CFD, using both ANSYS and possibly spreading into open foam. We do a lot of composites research, given that the composite package of the car is mainly carbon fiber. Although that might be changing this year. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Join Aero to find out. And we have heavy integration with all other systems on the vehicle. We have to negotiate for space with suspension so that we can have space for big diffuser tunnels. We have to negotiate with chassis for kick-up height and electrics to figure out how much cooling they need. So onto that, we've got two parts of aerodynamics and cooling that we're intaking for this year, namely aerodynamics and cooling. So for aerodynamics, we focus on the design, analysis, and optimization, as well as overseeing the composites manufacturing of all aerodynamics devices, bodywork, assisting the driver ergonomics team with firewall and seat manufacturing as well. Then on the cooling side, we have the brake and driveline cooling systems, manufacturing and assembly, lots of thermodynamic calculations and validation, and sensor integration with electrics, as well as assisting the aerodynamics team with composites manufacturing as well. This year, we're planning on having separate new member projects for aerodynamics and cooling. Aerodynamics, we're looking at having you guys investigate a DRS system for the car. And for cooling, we're planning on having you guys develop and analyze a brake duct cooling system for the car, And if we're happy with your work, you might be able to actually design it and put it on the car this year. At least that's the plans that we have. So keen for this year. It's going to be a good year. And yeah, apply, have fun, and make a lot of friends in Redback. Thanks, guys. On to Tim.
Hey guys, my name's Tim. I'm the EV Mech and Driveline lead for this year. So our department is relatively new, and it was made to ensure proper mechanical integration of electrical components to the car. And also we handle power transmission from our motor to our driven wheels as well. Alright, so our roles include the mechanical interfacing of the electrical and driveline systems. So that includes designing enclosures for the high voltage and the low voltage electrical components, as well as any mechanical components as well. So how we do this is we use CAD software to model the actual design, and then we use FEA, or finite element analysis, to validate these models on the car, just to ensure that they can withstand any forces that the car might experience during any high speeds. Yeah. So the projects that we're doing towards designing RB23 include the accumulator projects. So we handle the actual enclosure design and validation. The segment layout, so how the cell segments will be placed within the accumulator. The cooling of segments, so any cooling that might be done during a high hot run. And the actual mounting to the chassis as well. And our driveline project, we handle the actual packaging within the chassis and how we will mount it as well. And as well as our gear ratio selection to ensure that we get the optimal torque to our rear-driven wheels. So unfortunately, our department will not be recruiting or onboarding this term. But if you have any questions for my department, I've got a few of my lovely members here, and then we're happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yeah. Sweet. So yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Sora.
And I'm Ed.
And we're the data acquisition leads for 2023. So what data acquisition actually is we're a department that develops software to collect, log, and stream live sensor data from the vehicle to help engineers analyze and improve its performance. So beyond that, we also provide a number of software tools to help fulfill the various other needs of the team. So to be more specific, our team can be broadly encompass 4 main sub-projects. These include the telemetry front-end system, the back-end system, our firmware system, and our CloudOps system. So Ed, do you want to take them through the telemetry systems?
Yeah, so the primary responsibility of DAC is to collect and inform the engineers what kind of data is coming off the car. So we do that in real time with our live telemetry system. The live telemetry system is basically 2 main components, the front end and the back end. We've got a really cute little back end with a whole bunch of extra performance enhancers every little bit, I don't know what words are. UI, courtesy of design, is a nice, pretty thing that all the engineers really love to engage with. It's a nice little application that we've developed for the team. We take all that data from Sora's back-end firmware, which is actually run on the car, and Sora will take you through a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, sure thing. So the firmware is a C++ roster application which runs on board the vehicle and collects data from the various sensors on the vehicle, processing and logging it so we can use it in the future. So beyond that, we also have our CloudOps department, which deploys all of our services so that they're accessible by anyone on your phone, on your laptop, as needed. Cool, so it is a very diverse technical stack covering many different aspects of software development. React, you've got C++, you've got various different frameworks that we use. And I think the biggest thing that you can get out of data acquisition is the opportunity to work with a large-scale project in a large team with a significant code base developed over the course of many years, right? So it's not really something that you generally get an opportunity to do at uni. And I think there's a lot of value in participating.
Yep, definitely 100% agree. I think one of the biggest takeaways I've taken from being in DAC is I go into a lot of my courses now and they start mentioning tools like Docker, and I turn to the people in my tutorial and I go, "What's Docker?" And they go, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, "I know." So, yeah, great. It's great to have that opportunity to work with like industry standard tools and really like get a better understanding before other people. It's awesome. So I'll hand over to Anish, our AV systems lead.
Hello. My name is Anish. I'm the autonomous systems lead. So for autonomous systems, our main goal really is to facilitate the transfer from a EV system to an EV-AV hybrid system. So what the roles and responsibilities of that involves is designing a fault-tolerant system at the hardware and the software level. So our software mainly focuses on low-level C++ stuff and some Python on top of it for testing purposes. But the hardware itself, whether that's the steering actuation or the braking system and stuff like that, that has to be fault tolerant as well. So any fault that occurs in the system, you want to shut down the car to prevent it from crashing, basically. So number one rule is don't crash. Number two is performance. We also work heavily with the other departments. There's a lot of interdepartmental collaboration, whether that's component design, placement, sensor integration. And the third main responsibility is, and I guess this goes for any department really, is you need to be very initiative driven. You have to really go out there and look at a bunch of ideas and think, okay, how about if we implement this? How does it affect the system? How can it improve the system? And you go out there and you read a bunch of papers and then you realize, oh, there's no real standard to this. Everything is so emerging and new that you really just have to experiment and try out things. So really pushing the boundaries of an AV system is what we hope to do. For projects, we have 4 main projects. So there's the perception system, which focuses on taking data from the LiDAR and the camera and basically understanding the world as the car goes along. For mapping and planning, you're basically taking all that sensor data, all the perceiving data, and you're mapping out the track. And you're planning your way around that track without having a map, which sounds counterintuitive, really, but it can be done. It's just very difficult. Control systems, it's more like you have the map, and then you got to like find a way to optimally traverse that. You have to find a way to optimally traverse around that track. Simulations, basically, how do we go about testing everything above? Because we can't really drag out the car every single time you want to test stuff, especially at scale. And AV hardware really is an intersection of all the 4 previous projects, because all 4 of them require some amount of hardware, whether that's mechanical or electrical. And AV hardware aims to facilitate that. So if you do want to join, if you want to be involved in the hardware aspects of AV as well, just make sure to put that in your application, because we are recruiting for all of these departments. And I'll hand it over to operations.
Hello, everyone. We're the operations team for this year. I'm Joseph. This is Zainul, Harvey, and Hugo. So operations is sort of a new thing for this year. We're basically the retirement village of Redback. We're basically the older, more experienced people who are like trying to make their lives easier for everyone else on the team. So myself, I'm the platform manager. So I manage a lot of the CAD and create all of the standards for that. Do documentation stuff and implemented like task tracking methods and stuff like that, which just helps everyone plan all of their tasks and all the different teams plan stuff better. Do you want to talk about your stuff?
Yeah. Sweet. So myself, Zain, and we're also missing Hain, but we'll get to that. So I'm a manufacturing manager, and sort of what I look into doing is working with all our various technical departments and ensuring that we've got quality control across the board in terms of how we source our materials for manufacturing and our processes across the board for that, as well as ensuring that we're trying to develop the most well integrated and optimized system from a manufacturing point of view. And of course, Harvey.
Hello, yep. So yeah, I'm the lab and safety manager. Basically, as you can probably read, I mainly handle your induction. So once you guys get once you guys get accepted into the team, you'll be mainly talking to me and the team lead Haley in terms of getting your access to MakeSpace, to the lab, and to any other additional things such as milling or any other type of inductions we might require you to do. I'm also mainly responsible for the health and safety of the lab. So basically, if you do anything dodgy in the lab, you might find me behind your shoulder, about to kick you out of the lab. So just be safe, you know, general common sense things they say. That's not really common sense if people aren't doing it. But yeah, usually pretty chill. And I also handle lab purchasing things. So what that means is, you know, if you're running low on things like tape, tooling, you might not be able to find things, just come to me. And usually we can sort things out pretty easily. So we'll give over to Hugo, who's driver management lead.
Hello, I'm Hugo. I am driver management lead for this year. We used to be part of technical, but now I'm part of operations because we work on the best part of the car, the driver. So we are now consisting of two different sections. Firstly is driver fitness. So we work on making sure the drivers are fit enough to drive the car, mostly upper body strength and making sure, you know, they're able to turn the wheel for half an hour. We're also doing track day preparations and making sure we can get them in that headspace so they can drive well, so that they're focused, and also making sure that they can cool off after that sort of stuff. And that's where the driver recovery comes in. This year, we're also integrating race engineering. So this is mostly to help synthesize the driver in the car. We're making sure that they're getting the best out of the on-track performance as well. We are hiring this year, so if you have any questions, feel free to come and find me. Cool.
Thank you, everyone. So that concludes the presentations from the entire team. How lovely. We can cut straight into Q&A. We will be after this kind of breaking up into like discussion, so like the screen will stay up, but you're welcome to come and like talk to our leads, anyone that presented, myself and the other exec, or our self-proclaimed retirement village, who can help you with any questions you may have, all of that sort of thing if you don't want to ask like right now. But yeah, did anyone have any like just general questions about the team or like recruitment? Oh yes, Maxi. How can you drive the car? How lovely. So in the past, we have done recruitment for specific driver positions. That is not something that we will be doing or looking to do anytime soon. Essentially, Redback is a project of love. So you come in, you give your time, and if you come in, participate, you get around things, and you're proactive, and you show an interest in possibly wanting to drive the car, well, I don't know, maybe things go your way that way. But yeah, currently we aren't looking for any drivers. But yeah. Any other questions? Hello. How many people are we recruiting? So, pardon? For each department, that is an excellent question. So if I go back here. Okay, so of the departments here that are recruiting technical-wise, so driver management was one of them. Hugo, how many people are you taking? One or two for driver management. I don't believe AV or Elec are recruiting, but DAC, you're recruiting? AV is recruiting. How many people are you taking, Anish?
I don't have a number.
Oh, no number. That's how lovely. DAC, how many people are you taking? Okay, 5 and 10 for data acquisition. Aerodynamics and cooling. Unable to say. Chassis, you're not recruiting, are you? Am I forgetting any other technical departments? No. So we're not. If we're going by that, we're taking 10 people. But no, it honestly depends on the skills that you can bring to the table, and throughout our recruitment process, every department are doing interviews. So we get to kind of know you and see what your drive and your initiative is. As was mentioned before by, I think, Daniel, Redback is very much what you put in, you will get out. So if you show an initiative to want to learn more and like a proactive attitude, and you're kind of open to kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone, that can help you. So if you're going through recruitment and you're interested in applying to join us, just show an initiative to learn, and that will help. The fact that people can't say a number they're recruiting isn't a bad thing. It just means that they're not quite sure, and it very much is based off the quality of applicants we get. Any other questions before we break into groups? Yeah, what's up?
In terms of being involved with the technical departments here at Redback, how do you find that plays out in terms of getting internships or going into employment? Like, for example, I've seen some motorsports teams will say, hey, you were involved with FSAE. That's a really interesting work.
Yeah, for sure. So I can start this one off and I'll pass off to Guy. But we have Sahash, our external relations lead, spoke a bit about it, but we have a whole plethora of sponsorships under our wing here at Redback. And being a part of our team, you get to know not only those industry partners, but you get to go down to competition with us, and there's other like companies there that put on show that they are recruiting or hiring and that sort of thing. In terms of motorsport, that is a kind of a new aspect of our team, and that we're delving into to try and get those like more connections for our team. Having FSAE experience on your resume does help with learning with applying to jobs and that sort of thing. But again, it kind of loops back to it's about the amount of like work you put in. But Guy, do you want to add?
Yeah. So FSAE is the largest student competition, like engineering student competition in the world. It is very renowned. It's very recognised. I think you'd be very hard pressed to find an employer that doesn't know what it is and doesn't know the kind of students that it puts out at the end, right? So it is a great thing to have on your CV. But beyond the name itself, it's the skills that you develop and get a chance to hone while you're in the team that'll make you employable. Really, going through uni, you get given these really like nicely packaged, like little problems with a bow on top that are super simple, really straightforward. It's like, calculate the stress in this beam that is perfect and, super simplified and you'll never see in real life. Whereas in a team like Redback or in Formula SAE, you get the unique opportunity to work in not only a massive team by any comparison to anything else you do in uni, but you also get to work on incredibly complex systems and in an incredibly demanding competition environment. So in a way, you get the experience that you'll fall back on like in your professional career, right? So a lot of us in the team either work currently or have worked full time, like through like placements and internships. We have actually quite a few former members that have gone places. We've got a few alumni that have worked in F1. We've got a few that are currently working at Tesla. And then a couple others that have worked in other OEMs. FSAE is a really great stepping stone for future employment. It's probably the most like recognisable student project you can be a part of. And yeah, the skills you develop and you can like practice at such an early stage in your career as well are unmatched. They're really valuable. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. Any other questions? Joseph, yes?
If I get on the team, can I change departments?
So Joe asked if he can change departments when he joins. Short answer is no. Long answer is there's a bunch of opportunities available to you once you join. If you join and you show an initiative to want to learn more or an interest in a department that isn't the one that you joined, we can discuss that internally, and it's kind of taken as a case-by-case basis once we recruit again. So, for example, if one of you really wanted to join suspension and brakes, but we're not recruiting for suspension and brakes, I encourage you not to join another department just to eventually end up in suspension and brakes. But if suspension and brakes finds itself recruiting in T3, then that's a discussion that we can have with you. Again, very much going to stress it's a case-by-case discussion. So it's no. Short answer is no. Any other questions? Yes.
Let's say it's an idea for you this year and you want to join next year. What should you do in the meantime to be well next year?
Yeah, for sure. So I would very much encourage you to show your face, like come say hi to us when we're at lab, or if you see like anyone in a Redback polo or Redback merch, like just say hi, make your face kind of known. But you're welcome to say hi and be here now, but then not come knocking on our door until next year. That's totally fine. Historically, we have recruited for every single department that we have at the beginning of T1. However, this is the first year that we haven't done that, just because our team has grown like exponentially over the last few years. Like we used to be a tiny little team of like 30 people, if that, and now there's something like 150 of us. So we don't have the need to recruit all the time. So if there is an opportunity that we're displaying that you really want to take a part in, I highly encourage you to join. We've had members or alumni now that have said like, oh, I wish I joined like my first year of uni. I cannot stress enough that there is no like pre-required skill set that you must have. It is purely just initiative and a proactive mindset to want to learn more. You do not have to be in the specific degree that you want to then join the department of. So you don't have to be studying like electrical engineering to be a part of ELEC. You can completely stray from your degree 100%. Bit of a tangent there, but I hope that solved your question. Any other questions before we split into groups? Yes, hello.
So once you leave uni, can you still be part of the team?
Oh, I wish. No, you can't. As a student project, we're only available to UNSW students. So everyone on the team are currently active in their degrees or doing, I don't know, like thesis and that sort of thing. We do have a very wide and active group of alumni though that still like pop around and say hi, and throughout the design of our cars as well, we do bring in their support to kind of get their advice on how we're going. Also up until the end of last year when we went to comp, we were a team that hadn't been to competition since 2009, so that alumni support and pardon? 2019. Oh, 2019, sorry. Since 2019, so up until then, like that support was extremely invaluable because we were doing something we'd never done before. So no non-uni students. Yes.
A very large German team just got disqualified because they had someone that wasn't studying a degree.
Damn, there you go. So for those listening online, Joe just said that a very large German team just got disqualified because they had someone that wasn't at uni on their team. Yes.
If you're a postgraduate student, are you still...
Yeah, you can come join us, 100%.
It's only after you finish.
Once you are no longer a UNSW student at all, that's when you cannot be in Redback. Yeah.
Come back to another degree.
Yeah, just study full-time, all the time. Definitely. Alrighty, any other questions? Okay, doesn't look like it. Oh, yes, Kyle. What type of time commitment is Redback? That is an excellent question. I'm going to be honest with you. If you, what I said earlier was you get out what you put in. If you put in a lot of time to Redback, you're going to get a lot out of it. There's so much more than just like knowledge and connections and like the networking aspect that you can get from this. It's the friendships, you get to say at the end of the year, you build a car. That's so cool. Even if you didn't physically build the car, every single little bit you put in, it all helps, right? Time commitment wise, I would say it's around a minimum of 10 hours a week. Some people put a significantly more amount than that. Others don't, and you reap the benefits of what you put in. That's all. Yes. Can you apply for multiple? I'm pretty sure, does our form allow for that? Yeah, you can apply for multiple departments for sure. But it does, if you're applying for multiple departments, I would still put in your application the department you prefer the most, because we have had people in the past apply for literally every single business and every single technical department, and that doesn't come across as good as someone that applies for the one they want and expresses that. But if you apply for we don't have many technical departments recruiting, so if you apply for all of those, then that's totally fine. Alrighty, any other questions? Amazing. Okay, I can put the mic down now. Thank you all for sitting through our info night. We are going to break up into just humans standing, and you can come and talk to anyone in a Redback polo or Redback merch. We're really approachable people. Actually, talking about that. Okay. Yes.
All
Yeah.
the leads will be holding up signs, so just walk
there you
up to
go.
them, and if you don't remember their faces.
We also have, so for your pleasure. Alrighty, listen up, I'm nearly done, I promise. So our link tree just here. Redback people. Thank you. Linktree just here will link you to our application and also documents about the roles and responsibilities for our recruiting departments. Goes into a bit more detail than what's listed here. However, what's even better is you can chat to the people recruiting straight away. So yep, there's that. And then please fill out the feedback form as well before you guys go. We're obviously wanting to improve each year, so it helps. That's all. Okay, thank you.